Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Federal investigators said they need to take a look. Police released new clues into the high-speed crash of a Tesla here in Detroit.
Getting back to business, a state panel lays the groundwork for when workers can go back to the office safely.
But we'll begin with breaking news at the TCF Vaccination Center in downtown Detroit, where police confirm a nurse has been arrested for trying to steal doses of the coronavirus vaccine.
Police say other nurses witnessed it and reported it right away.
Off the top here at 5, let's get right to Sean Lay, who just spoke to the person in charge of the whole operation. Sean?
And the key question to all of this, guys, is once the nurse pocketed 2 syringes of the vaccine, time was ticking. There's only a 6-hour shelf life to that vaccine. So the question is, what was she planning to do with it? That is the focus of an intense investigation. And listen to the man who runs the complete operation at the TCF Center describe how this nurse tried to get away with this.
Like a shoplifter. To my understanding, she picked up 2 syringes and tried to put them in her pocket.
A shocker from inside Detroit's drive-through vaccination clinic. A nurse working for a contractor hired to give the vaccine to Detroiters, the city says, caught red-handed when nurses watched her take 2 syringes of the Pfizer vaccine and put them in her pocket. Other nurses saw it, they reported it, and she was arrested by DPD right on the spot. Detroit Chief Operating Officer overseeing the entire TCF vaccination process tells us every person working there sees and knows just how carefully the vaccine is guarded.
Our vaccines are stored in a secure location. They escorted to the facility in a secure method. Even when we deliver the syringes out to the nurses station, they are accompanied by a security guard, and we account for every syringe that is administered out.
And never did anyone think someone would try to steal COVID-19 vaccine.
We were extremely shocked that someone attempted to do that. I mean, the floor is surrounded by police officers and security and cameras everywhere. They know we account for every dose. We account for even if there was a bad syringe or if it was dropped on the floor. Those are returned back to the pharmacy so we can account for it. So I was really astonished by that behavior.
What happened to those 2 syringes? Police were right on the spot. They took both syringes for evidence. However, the city points out everyone that signed up for a vaccine yesterday got their vaccine shot. This did not impact the clinic at all. This nurse now could face federal or local charges. Police are still working on the warrant of the case. And the city says they want to investigate to see if this was a one-time deal or possibly they are bringing up the possibility that it's connected to something they're calling much deeper. Guys, back to you.
Well, Sean, the city meets and makes plans about how to execute things at the TCF clinic. They talk about the possibility of this happening in those meetings?
I asked that question because they tick off how this has been running so well.
Yeah.
And they said the possibility of theft with so much police and security walking the vaccine out, they never thought anyone would try to steal it.
Yeah, boy, really something. All right, Sean.
Well, let's take a look now at today's coronavirus numbers. They're back up over 2,000 again, continuing this backslide into new cases. The state also reported 27 new deaths, including 6 from a review of past vital records.
Now to the vaccine, over 300,000 new doses being brought here to Michigan, bringing the total to 3.7 million. 3 million doses thus far have been administered. Now we've learned just how many people have signed up to get a vaccine at Ford Field in this first 24 hours of registration.
Meyer tells us it has registered more than 35,000 people so far. Invitations for those who have registered will be sent out later this week. Meyer says it plans to use the CDC's Social Vulnerability Index to focus on sending invitations to those who are most vulnerable. You can find out how to register at clickondetroit.com. And as vaccinations ramp up, there are still questions about when it's safe for office workers to head back to in-person work.
And today, a group of business and health leaders laid the groundwork to answer that question. Rod Maloney following that story tonight. And Rod, we know a lot of companies have been continuously pushing back their return dates so far.
That's right, Devin. They want to get people back in the office if they have that need. And of course, it shows you that there is still a lot of concern around all of this coronavirus vaccine question, the uncertainty there. But here's the thing. MIOSHA has an order that's going to expire in mid-April that talks about keeping offices closed. A lot of businesses wanted that not extended, and I hate to say it, but they're going to be disappointed. Many Michigan business groups, including chambers of commerce, want employees back in the office, don't want an order extension, and have urged the governor seriously to consider removing the order next month. But in this afternoon's return to work group session online, moderator Sean Egan said,
our expectation is we will be extending these rules because we still have COVID and we have to mitigate the spread of COVID in the workplace to protect employees and create those safe work environments.
The state of Michigan, and in particular the governor's advisory panel made up of business union and medical professionals, say that they're stressing remote work policies, but it is entirely up to the employer.
Employees can be in the office. What an employer is required to do is to create that policy by making a determination if an employee's work can feasibly be completed remotely. If it cannot, those employees can be required to come into the office.
There are a lot of questions about how this is going to continue to work, and all the regular COVID social distancing and disinfection rules will continue to apply.
You have to have the masking. If you can't maintain social distancing, you're wearing facial coverings and those types of things. Employers should be considering physical barriers to help protect employees to the extent that they can. You need to limit or eliminate congregation points. So that would be your common kitchen and those types of things.
Now, there is some light at the end of this tunnel, as there is with all of this, the vaccine getting rolled out. And as we get to that place where you get 70% of the adults vaccinated, then they can become flexible with this order. But it appears likely it's going to be extended, at least for the time being. Back to you.
Mask wearing in the office setting has been a concern for many too, Rod.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that they said, it was very specific. They said that if you have a cubicle and it's a tall cubicle, you're perfectly fine behind that wall. But they said if it's a short cubicle, they say you should be wearing a mask even at your desk.
Keep watching all of this evolve. All right, Rod. We started out with a dreary Tuesday, but as you saw behind Rod there, we managed to get to the bit of the sun here late in the day.
We did. Let's get over to Ben for a look at what's headed our way tonight and into tomorrow. Hi, Ben.
And Kim and Devin, better late than never. And it is here. We got those sunshine rays in that boosted temperatures to the 50s in a good chunk of the area, especially Detroit, which is at 53. And considering our average is 46, not half bad. You can see how that really started to spread across the area since about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we should keep at least mostly clear skies going into the evening. We'll fall down to the 30s here by midnight tonight. It is going to be a chilly night, but really the only other thing we're watching this week is Thursday's rain, and that will be in here early. We'll track it. Not everybody's going to get wet. We'll look at that, and a very nice weekend and an even warmer next week as all the good stuff is in the back end of the 7-day forecast, guys.
That's great. All right, Ben. New questions tonight surrounding the crash of a Tesla in Detroit. It comes as the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has launched an investigation over the possible role of Tesla's Autopilot system.
Police now say the driver admitted he was in control of the car when it slammed into a semi-truck at Fort and Waterman in southwest Detroit. Let's get to Victor Williams. And Victor, that still isn't stopping the feds from looking into this.
Yes, that is absolutely correct, Kimberly. We know that this investigation is going to continue, even though DPD has already pointed their finger at the driver of the vehicle.
It appears that speed was a major factor in the collision.
Assistant Chief David LaValle talking to Local 4 about last Thursday's collision between a Tesla and tractor trailer that happened in southwest Detroit, leaving a 21-year-old female passenger in critical condition.
All the indications that we have at this point are that the vehicle was not in autopilot mode, that the driver was in control of the vehicle at the time of the crash.
Regardless of the preliminary information given today, later on this week, investigators from DPD will be meeting up with officials from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and other agencies to look for clues that may still be under the hood.
Individuals from that agency, along with the officer in charge of the case here in Detroit and the Michigan State Police, are going to be removing a black box and an SD card from that Tesla.
DPD couldn't comment on just what exactly those cards entailed, although the mangled vehicle is still in their possession.
We believe that Once we look at that black box and download that information, along with the information that's on the SD card, we'll be able to determine for sure whether or not the vehicle was in autopilot mode or not.
It's all a part of a wider investigation made on behalf of the NHTSA to determine if there's any connection to 2 Florida accidents involving Teslas that happened as well.
My understanding, there are a few other crashes involving Tesla vehicles in other parts of the country.
Only those crashes were fatal and the self-driving feature was being used. As of right now, 100% of the blame is being placed on the person who was behind the wheel.
They did review that and authorize charges today, charging the driver with reckless driving, causing serious injury.
And we're told that the driver is going to be taken back into custody. So in the meantime, we'll be looking forward to seeing the results of the investigation for sure. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Victor, do we know how the passenger, how's she doing today?
Still fighting for her life. Unfortunately, I was able to speak to some of her family members, and they're telling me that she's dealing with brain bleeding and she has some major back issues. So if anyone wants to help her out, we've included links on our website to their GoFundMe.
Yeah. Okay, Victor, thanks.
Firefighters respond to a double house fire in Detroit.
It happened this morning near Brush and Hague on the city's east side. Firefighters say there's a lot of damage inside, but everybody made it out okay. The investigation continues.
All right, we've got much more to come here at 5. Let's check in with Hank.
Do you want to know when your stimulus money will make its way directly into your account? Well, I have an easy way to help you track the cash. I'm going to show you what you need to know coming up in my Help Me Hank report.
And Moderna has started its trial of vaccinating children. Ahead here at 5, Dr. McGeorge is in with this important first step and how long it could be before kids, including babies, can get the shot.
But first, Livonia police making big new hires to the force, aiming to save lives and keep people safer. But they aren't officers. That's next.